So we're in George's Hall in Biggleswade. This is an old theatre. Houdini performed here in 1920. It's now a restaurant and my residential gig, and where we're going to be explaining this ice cold any card at any number for you guys. So let's go on.
Hello, my name's Mitchell Kettlewell and welcome to my ice cold any card at any number. I'd first like to thank you for purchasing this. This is my work on the any card at any number. For a long time I wanted the perfect seeming solution, a completely freely named card, a completely freely seeming named number, and you'll understand what I mean by that a bit later on, with the deck on the table from the very beginning and very limited sleight of hand. And this was what I came up with. Now, I'd been working on this for a long time and I finally decided to let this out for other magicians to use because it is strong and clean. It's one of the cleanest out there, I've been told. And when it came to crediting with this, it was then that we found out that a similar move had been done on Daniel Garcia's DVD from the Garcia project. And it was when we looked into crediting on that we found that Barry Richardson, the origins of the move came from Barry Richardson. And it was then that we looked into the book that it was from, Theatre of the Mind, and we found out that his any card at any number was very similar. We had no idea about this until it actually came to crediting, and unfortunately Barry passed away in 2016, so we've contacted his estate and they all gave us explicit permission to release this. They love the idea, and there are differences. The core method is the same, but the differences being my routining is different. It's fairer seeming in terms of they can genuinely name any number, and there's a couple of little nuances that I've come up with that make this what it is and different to Barry's. I know you're itching to learn this, so we'll go into the basic method first, and then we'll go into the method more in depth. So the basic method is stacked, ace-3 to king of spades and ace-3 to king of clubs, with a short card joker, and then ace-3 to king of hearts, ace-3 to king of diamonds, with once again a short joker. And these cards basically go face to face like this, so that on one side you have all the blacks and on the other side you have all the reds. And the basic method is, when they've named a card, you know what position it is in the deck from either side. So if they named a black card, you know it's however many cards down from the black side. If they name a red card, it's the same. We'll go more in depth with this later, so how you can figure it out. And then all you do, whatever number they name, you figure out how many cards you have to deal off from the other side. So let's say the card is at the 10th position and they've named the number 17. You deal 7 cards off from the other side first, the wrong side, and then you flip the deck basically to load it into that position so that you can deal the final 10 cards and the card is in the correct position. And I'll cover how to get a genuinely freely named number if they name something out of the bounds of what it can be. I'll cover everything really in depth for you guys. But that is the basic methodology for the ice cold any card at any number.
You don't want to break the camera.
Okay, so we're going to try something based on your intuition this time. Because I've showed you things where I've tried to pick up on things that you're thinking of. Rather than you picking up on something that I'm thinking of, because it's a lot more difficult, we're going to try something based with a pack of playing cards to test your intuition. And this was actually a test of intuition done by psychics, supposedly.
Psychics or sidekicks?
Yeah.
It involves a pack of playing cards, okay? What I'd like you to do, I want you to build a card up inside of your mind, okay? So start with a value and a suit and combine them together. Feel free to change your mind a few times with either one, and when you have a suit and a card in mind, when you have a card as a whole in mind, just let me know.
Yeah, good.
You got one, right? How many times did you change your mind out of interest?
Didn't.
You didn't, okay? But you're free to if you wish to, you were free to. What's the card that you're thinking of?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
The number or the colours or...
Everything. It's alright if I know.
7 of hearts.
The 7 of hearts. Okay, interesting. Now, a number. Rob, could you help us with this as well?
Yeah.
I want you to think of a number between 1 and 52. Just name a number now.
10.
10, right? So there's 7 of hearts and 10. This is where the test of intuition came in. This deck of cards has been sat on the table from the very beginning of this performance. So you said 10, so we have 1, 2, 3. So these 7 of hearts and the 10th position, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th card, I'm going to hold on to this just here. Okay? There's a lot of things that do come into play with this, which is why it's a test for intuition and psychic. Because there's 1 in 52 chance of you naming the 7 of hearts, because of the 52 cards in the pack. And there's 1 in 52 chance, Rob, of you naming the number 10, because there's 52 numbers that you could potentially choose from. So combined together, there's 1 in over 2,500 chance of this actually being the correct card. There are other things that come into play too, though, because if that deck of cards would have been shuffled one more time, the outcome of this would have been completely different. They say there's a quintillion different possible orders for a deck of playing cards, which means that even if one card was out of position, roughly, based on probability, no other deck of cards would have ever been in that order before. Which means in any other circumstance, the outcome of this would have been completely different. Now, you said the 7 of hearts, and you said 10. You could have changed your mind. I want you to take a look at that. Despite the odds, your intuition actually paid off. Show the camera.
That's brilliant.
Bloody hell.
To begin, the deck is separated ace through to king of hearts, ace through to king of diamonds with a joker, and then ace through to king of spades, ace through to king of clubs, and then another joker. The reason the jokers are there is to give you an extra card leeway, and you'll understand what that means a little bit later on. You put the decks, or the portions of the deck, face to face, like that. So now you have kind of a double-backed deck. What this means, this setup, is you know what position the card is at as soon as they've named it. So let's say they name the 9 of spades. We know that this is 9 cards from the top on the black side. So if I was to deal the cards face down like this, I know it's 9. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know that's the 9 of spades. If they named a club, and it's slightly different, so we have 10, Jack, Queen, King. We'll put those face up for you. That's with the spades. If they name a club, we know that this lies under the spades, so that's 13 cards, being the 13 spades, then plus the value of the card they name. So the 4 of clubs would be 13 plus 4, which is 17. So we have 13, 14, 15, 16, the 17th card, the 4 of clubs. On the other side, it's exactly the same thing with the same setup, just with hearts first and then diamonds. So if they name a heart, it's the value of the card. If they name a diamond, it's 13 plus the value of the card, because those hearts lie on top. The jokers are there as short cards, and the reason that they're as short cards is so that when you deal through, you can actually flip the deck, and you sort of know how far in you are before the boundary. This is all explained in just a few moments, but that is the basic setup. So the positions also, you're never calculating anything more than 26, because the cards are face to face, so you know that it lies a certain position between 1 and 26 on either side, and you'll know what side it is because it's separated reds into blacks. That's the basic setup. So now you have the deck set face to face, it comes to having the spectator name the card. When having them name the card, you can do a few things to make it easier for yourself. The first thing is the physical scripting you use. So you can say, I'd like you to think of a value and a suit and combine them together. And what this does is, by saying value, it pushes them towards a number rather than a jack, queen or king. And the reason for not having a jack, queen or king is because if they named, in this setup, the king of diamonds, you're right at the very boundary of where you can be. That is the 26th card. The joker's just there, just in case they do name that and are persistent that they do not want to change at all. The second thing you can do is say, I don't want you to go for an obvious one like an ace or something like that. Just make it more difficult for me. Go for a more obscure card. This then, once again, prevents them from going for a jack, queen or king because they're kind of prominent and they stand out a bit more. So it stops them going for that. When it comes to now naming the number, there's a little bit of maths that comes into it, but not much at all. And with a little bit of practice, you can get this down to just a couple of seconds. For example, if they name the 7 of spades, we know that that lies at position 7 in the pack from the black side because of the setup that we've had. And then all you have to do is calculate the numbers that they can name from. And the way you do this is you take 7. They can't name any number less than 7 because otherwise you have to do funny moves and it is just too much work and looks fishy sometimes. So it has to be 7, and 7 plus 26. So anything between those boundaries are the numbers that they can name. So in this case, they can name a number between 7 and 33. And the reason for this is because you have the 26 red cards to deal down on the other side before you have to flip the deck, otherwise you don't have any more cards to deal. So in this case, they have to name a number between 7 and 33. Previous any cards at any numbers, Barry Richardson's any card at any number, he had them. He limited them, and he said, "I want you to name a number between 7 and 33." What I've done with it is I've played with it a little bit and twisted it so that they can genuinely name any number between 1 and 52, seemingly. What I do is I say, name a number between 1 and 52 now. And because with the card I can have them change their mind, in fact I encourage them to change their mind with the card. If they name the wrong number, or a number out of the bounds of 7 to 33, then that's when I can use it against them and say, now, we'll make this fair, I want you to change your mind. So let's say, in this example, they name the number 6. It's not within 7 and 33, so what I'll do is I'll say, I want you to jump up in your mind to another number. And what this does is saying jump up, they will jump up. They're not going to jump down to 2, they'll jump up more. If they jump up too high, then you can just limit them again and bring them back down. Let's say they named a number too high, it's exactly the same thing. You say, I want you to change one more time, just jump back to another number in your mind. And if they've gone too low and then too high, you have them change one more time and they go straight in the middle. So I'll give you an example. They've named 6. So jump up to another number in your mind. They named 39. That's great. We'll change one more time just to make this as fair as possible, because you'll come back afterwards and think, oh, if I would have changed my mind one last time, then the outcome would have been different. Or if I didn't change my mind, the outcome would have been different. So let's do this. So 39, just jump back one more time. And then they'll go back into that boundary. They won't jump below 6 or won't go above, because you've limited them now to go in the middle. So that's how you get the number. Once you've got the number within the bounds of the 7 and 33 in this example named, you have to do a little bit of maths. And with practice, you can get this down in a couple of seconds. So say the number that they've named, Lloyd, give me a random number now, and I'll run through on camera what's going through my head.
25.
25. I know that the 7 of spades lies at 7, and you've named 25. So what I do in my head is I do 25 minus the position. So in this case, 25 minus 7, which is 18. So I now know I have to deal 18 cards from the red side, because the card is black, and then flip the deck and deal through. So we'll give you an interactive example in just a moment for this.
Okay, I'm going to test you right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give you a number, and I want you to go as fast as you can. Tell me the position.
Right, okay, card first.
The point of the deck at which you flip it.
Right, okay, card first.
Okay, I'll give you the 5 of diamonds.
5 of diamonds is at 13 plus 5, which makes it at 18, and then the number?
31.
31, so that's 31 minus 18, which is 13.
Yes.
So with practice, it does take a bit of practice. I'm okay at maths. For me, with maths, I have to have a pen and paper in front of me and work it out. So this has been a bit of a challenge for me to do this, but it's really nothing too much.
So just to clarify, 13 is the magic number that when you take the cards out of the box, which you'll explain in a moment,
Yep.
13 is the number, the point in which you turn the deck.
Yes, so you deal 13 cards first, then flip the deck, and then continue dealing up until the number that they've named. So we'll give you an interactive example for this now.
Okay, I'm going to go with the 4 of hearts.
The 4 of hearts, so that lies at position 4 on the red side, because in my stack. Now the number?
29.
29, so that's 29 minus 4, which is the position, which is 25. So you have to deal 25 cards from the black side, because they've named a red card, and then flip the deck and continue dealing. So we'll give you an example with actually dealing the cards now too. So, the black cards I always have on top, and these will go in the box with the black cards face down. So I know that if I was to open the box this way and take the cards out, I'm dealing the black cards first. If I can get them out of the box, I'm dealing the black cards first. So if they name a black card, I'll bring them out the other way. If they name a red card, I'll bring them out this way. So just to go over that one last time to simplify it, red card named, I bring them out, so the black cards are dealing first. If a black card is named by the spectator, then you open up the box the other way, so then you are dealing the red cards first onto the table. So now we'll go into this example. So Lloyd, I want you to name any card from a pack of playing cards. They go into the box with the blacks this way, remember?
Okay, I'm going to go for the 3 of clubs.
The 3 of clubs. So I know that this is a black card, so I need to bring the cards out of the box with the reds dealing first. So just to show you, the reds deal first. So, sorry, what was the card again, Lloyd?
The 3 of clubs.
The 3 of clubs. This is when I work out the position before I even bring the cards out of the box. So the 3 of clubs, I know that this is at 13 because of the 13 spades that lie above it, plus the position of the card, the 3, which puts it at position 16 from the black side of the pack. So I'll then have the number named. So Lloyd, just name any number now.
What if I said like 14?
14.
Yeah.
So we know the card's at 16, but Lloyd is named 14. So what I'll do is I'll have him change, and you might think this seems limiting, but it really isn't, because they're changing their mind. If anything, it seems a lot fairer that you're allowing them to change their mind. You can't be influencing them in any way, when in fact you kind of are. You're restricting them without seeming as if you are.
It did feel more open when I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I did feel like I was really trying to be difficult to get. So it does feel more fair for me.
And if anything, that gets a bigger reaction at the end when they do change their mind, and I encourage them to change their mind with the card to open up the change of the mind for the number. So back to this, the 3 of clubs and 16. So you've named 14. I'll say jump up to another number in your mind.
22.
22. So this is where I do the maths here as well, before I've taken the cards out of the deck, just so I have time myself. So the position is 16, the number named is 22. 22 minus the position, so that's 6. So 22 minus 16 is 6. So I know that I take the cards out of the box with the red side, because a black card has been named, and then I deal 6 cards to the table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this is when I have to flip the deck, because the card is at 16 on this side. There's a couple of different ways you can flip the deck. We'll go into that in a moment. One way, I'll explain very briefly now, is pushing the cards towards the spectator as you table the deck and say 6, that was. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You ask them, are you 100% sure you want that? And then you never have them change their mind. So once you flip the deck now, we're now dealing the black cards. So that was 6. So you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22nd card is the 3 of clubs.
It's crazy.
And this works every single time. Having them change their mind seems fairer than anything. So we'll now go into a couple of different ways, the misdirection you can use in order to turn the deck. And also you have to make sure you deal face down. I was dealing face up here just to show you. If you're using a different stack, which you can do, it can be a little bit more difficult. I know Lloyd uses mnemonic when he's doing this. You can deal face up because the cards are mixed up. But obviously if you deal face up with this stack, then they're going to see the method because the cards are in perfect order, and that's not really what you want. So the only move in this isn't even a move. It's literally turning the deck over. And your hand does this naturally. All you have to do is literally turn your hand over, wrist kill. We'll go into different ways of misdirecting to do it. So one way, the very first way that I use, which is when I'm standing up, which is most of the time when I'm performing, is literally just bringing the arm over and asking them a question. And as you bring your arm to kind of block, you literally just flick it in your hand. If you can do the T.G. Murphy deck flip, you can do that. I'm personally not a sleight of hand guy, which is why I developed this any card at any number, because I didn't want to have to do any pinky counts or any passes or anything like that, because I knew I would get caught, because I'm really not great at sleight of hand, which is why I kind of looked for this solution. Even my palm isn't great. How can I call myself a magician when my palm isn't great? But literally the only move isn't a move, it's turning the deck over. So this is one move to flip over the deck you can use when standing up. So you have the deck in whatever position you normally hold the deck. What you'll do is shift it onto your fingers, like that. And as you ask them a question, you bring your hands down to your side and put your thumb on top, like this. And then all you have to do is, as you bring your hands back up, it flips over itself. And the misdirection for bringing your hands down is you're asking them a question. Another one you can do when standing up, or you can even do this when sitting down, is you ask them a question again, or say their name, because that then gets them to look up. And then what you can do is you can TG Murphy deck flip it if you like. You can put your arm in the way to body block, so they can't see. As long as you ask them a question, they're not going to see the move anyway. So in sort of real time, I don't know the angles of the camera obviously, but if I was to ask them a question, I'd look at them myself, I'd bring my arm over and point at them, and kind of come under the arm as I flip the deck over. So another way that you can do this is another turnover. You get it into kind of a straddle grip like this, and you bring your hands down to your side, and because you've got it in straddle grip, what you can then do is put your thumb on top and turn the deck like that. And once again, the misdirection for that is asking them a question. So I'll show you an example of that. Lloyd, if you could hold your hand out. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Lloyd, are you sure you want this position and this card? Yes.
Yeah.
At this point, no one ever changes their mind. I've never had it. To be honest with you, I'm kind of bold enough to just carry on and continue dealing and ask them to potentially change their mind, and knowing that they won't. So that's, in that action, I did actually flip the deck over because I brought Lloyd's attention up and brought the spectators' attention up. They don't see it. Okay, so the tabled moves that you can use when you have a table, you could be stood in front of a table if it's tall enough, or you can be sat down like I am. The first one is you'd have the cards dealt onto the table, like this, and then at the moment you have to flip the deck over, you ask them a question, or you say, I want you to make sure that this genuinely is this many cards, so in this case it is 6. And as you're counting these, you literally just wrist kill and put the deck down and count with the other hand as well. And the misdirection of drawing their attention to the cards takes away from here. And then what you should do really is continue counting from the deck like this. And this seems really fair because it's not in your hands anymore. There's no funny sleight of hand moves that could be going on. Another one that could be used is when you have an object on the table. You'd position yourself purposefully near to the object. So we'll move this in, and you deal like this. You have 2, 3, 4, and then you say, you know what, actually, we'll move this out of the way, and then that's when you can wrist kill and move it right out of the way, and then continue dealing from the table. Or you could just TG Murphy deck flip it in your hand as you do it. Another thing that you can do is have the spectator deal the remainder of the cards. So say we've dealt some cards to the table, you say to them, are you left-handed or right-handed? And you have them hold their hand out. So Lloyd, if you could hold your hand out, and then you kind of wrist kill and just put it in their hands, making sure the deck's squared, so obviously you don't flash the face-up cards on the bottom. That's never really a problem anyway. And then they continue dealing the rest, and then at the end you just take the cards from them. They're all focused on the card anyway, because they're like, oh my god, what if it is the correct card? So you can just take it from them and they're not going to notice anything. What I do have in this deck, kind of as just like a safety thing, is 2 short cards. So the jokers in the middle are short cards, so they not only act as kind of a buffer, so you do have the 26 cards, they also are short. So let's say they named a red card. I'm dealing from the black side, like this, and then what I can do is I can flip the deck however I want to do it, and then I can riffle through, and it stops on the short card. In this example, it didn't quite stop. I didn't riffle right, but it would stop on the short card, and then you can do just a turnover of the bottom, I guess a kind of a half pass, and just flip over the bottom and put it in their hands. That's only if you're worried about the spectators seeing the fact that the cards do have some face-up cards on the bottom, but that shouldn't really be a problem. One final move is, once again, another kind of wrist kill motion. So we've dealt some cards to the table, and then you can sort of lean back on the offbeat, and as you do, you wrist kill, and then with your other hand you can take the deck and hand it to them, or you can just place it onto the table and continue dealing, or just gesture with your other hand, put it back into, so you basically wrist kill, take the deck and gesture, put it back here, continue talking for a few moments, and then continue dealing. So that's another move that's really sort of undercover.
I love that one, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so everyone watching at home, this is probably my favourite because they can't catch a hand turning over. You shouldn't be doing magic if they are.
It's a natural moment. I mean, you're dealing cards, and then you lean back as you ask them a question, risk kill, ask another question, sort of amplify, and you could have changed your mind, right? Yeah. You did change your mind, and then because you're then gesturing with this hand and dealing through like that. Sorry, my hands went out of shot a little bit there. But that risk kill motion and then passing them over and then dealing, that's the one that I tend to use when I'm sat in an environment like this. Okay, so we're going to go into a few example performances now, and then we'll do a little test with you to get your minds working with this. So remember, the cards go into the box with the black cards on top. You can put it the red cards. I always use the black, so that if I was to take the cards out this way, it's black first. So Lloyd doesn't know the stack entirely, so he might catch me out a couple of times. I'm going to run you through exactly what I'm thinking as I'm doing this. So Lloyd, I want you to get a card in your mind now. It's comprised of 52 cards. There's a pack of cards. So get a value of a card and get a number, combine them together, change your mind a couple of times, make it as fair as you want. Do you have a card in mind?
Yes.
Yes, I want you to just name this, it's okay.
8 of clubs.
The 8 of clubs.
Yes.
So this is where I work out the position. The 8 of clubs lies below the spades. So we have the 13 spades plus the 8 clubs. So 13 plus 8 is now the position of that, which is 21. So the 8 of clubs lies 21 cards down from this side of the pack, dealing the black cards down. So now, Lloyd, I want you to name a number between 1 and 52. Name the first one that jumps to mind.
17.
17. And I'll just cover again the reason for having him change his mind with the card and put him under pressure with a number is in case they name a number out of the bounds, which Lloyd has done this time because the position is 21 and he's named 17. So what I'll say here is, what I'd like you to do is jump up to another number in your mind. So Lloyd, just jump up to another one.
35.
35. So this is now fairer because you've changed your mind. The same way that you did with the card, and it does genuinely make it seem a lot fairer. So 35, did you say?
Yes.
So I know the card is at 21. The number that Lloyd has named is 35. So in my head, I do the number named, 35, minus the position, 21. So 35 minus 21 is 14. So I know that I have to deal 14 cards from the red side of the pack. So just to show you, we'll deal this onto the table. So what we do, I know that I have to open up the box this way, so I'm dealing the red cards first. So 14 cards down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then I do the misdirection, whatever it may be. I basically turn the deck over, under the misdirection obviously. 14, then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, the 35th card, the 8 of clubs.
Even knowing how it's done it.
Then to reset, just to cover a reset really quickly, you can literally just reverse count. So this is normally the last sort of effect I do for a table or for a group of people because it's really hard hitting. I'll cover how to make it really hard hitting and performance tips in a few moments, but you literally just reverse count as you're walking away. And then you can see what cards you're dealing off. So we've got the 8 of spades, that's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ace. So that's the ace of spades. And I know that this can then go on top of this portion, and the cards are now back in perfect order. So I'll spread through a little bit better so you can see that. The cards are now in perfect order again. And then I'll flip the deck over, and this is the 2 of diamonds, which makes this the ace. And then I can just continue dealing and reverse counting, and that essentially resets the deck so that you can go and perform this again. So we'll do one more example, and then we'll go into a test where you guys can actually try and figure out where it is before me. So another example. Cover it one last time. Remember, they go into the box with the blacks facing this way, like that. And the box is obviously sealed up. I always make a point of bringing this out at the very beginning and putting it on the table as well, just to make it even fairer. We'll cover how to make this as strong as it possibly can be in the next section. So, once again, Lloyd, we have a pack of playing cards. It consists of 52 different cards. I want you to build one up inside of your mind. So take a value and take a suit and combine them together. Change your mind with both a few times. As soon as you're happy, let me know.
Okay, I've got one.
And what's this card you're thinking of?
9 of hearts.
The 9 of hearts. So I know that this lies position 9 from the red side of the pack because the hearts lie on top. So I know I need to open the box up on the black side. So we know the card is at position 9 from the red side. Now I want you to name a number between 1 and 52. Just name one now. 25. So I know that this is roughly in the bounds that we can have it. You can work out the bounds, so the bounds would be 9 plus 26, which is 35. So they need to name a number between 9 and 35. After a while you will start to get a feel of the sort of number that they can name. So Lloyd named 25. In this case 25, the number named, minus the position, which is 9. So that's 16. We have to deal 16 cards from the black side and then flip the deck. So once again, we'll just deal through so you can see. I'll deal face up this time. You take the cards out of the box with the black side first. The black side facing, so these are the blacks, dealing face up. So the card was, again, name the card, sorry Lloyd?
9 of hearts.
9 of hearts, that's 9 and 25, 16 cards. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, turn the deck, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, the 9 of hearts. Now, if you do have... So Lloyd, as I said earlier, uses mnemonic for this, which means he can deal the cards face up on the table because they are mixed up. Or seemingly mixed up. Obviously you have the stack memorised. So if you know mnemonica, then you can use it with this. And if you obviously, once you know this and once you know mnemonica, combine them together and you can figure out the position of the card on either side, and it'll be exactly the same maths. Once you know the position, you have the number named minus the position, and that's how many cards you deal from the wrong side of the pack. So now we're going to do a test one. You guys are going to figure it out. So I'm going to name a card. In this case, I'll name the 9 of clubs. So take your time to figure this out. I'll now cover what my head goes through. The 13 spades plus the position of plus the value of the 9. So 13 plus 9, 22. So it lies at the 22nd position down. Once you know this, you have to name the number. So in this case, I'll name 31. So all you have to do is 31 minus 22 to figure out how many cards you deal from the wrong side of the pack. So 9. And that's the only thing you have to do. A little bit of maths and turning a pack of cards over in your hands, and the any card at any number is done. So now I'm going to go into some performance tips and presentation ideas to make this any card at any number as big as it possibly can be and to get some truly insane reactions. So with the number being named, if they do need to change it, you need to make sure that it's justified them changing it. It needs to make sense. So that's why I have them change their mind with the card. And if they don't change their mind with the card, but the number needs to be changed, I'll say, now we need to make this fair. You didn't change your mind on the card. Let's change it on the number, jump up or jump down, depending on what I need them to do. So another way you can have it is you can say, if they've named a number, if the card is sort of somewhere in the middle, you can say, what I'd like you to do is name a number. Don't go too low, don't go too high, go sort of somewhere in the middle. So if, let's say the 7 of spades and they named 33, that's position 7. And you need them to name something between 7 and 33. So you say, don't go too high, don't go too low, go for something in the middle, otherwise it'll take either a really long time or not much time at all. And that can sort of push them towards naming a card in the middle. Hand gestures, although it sounds strange, they do help. For example, when I say jump up to another number, I physically mimic jumping up, so I snap and then jump up. And when I have them name the number the first time, by snapping and pointing at them, it puts them under pressure, and that makes them name the number straight away. And then you can say if they need to change their mind. That wasn't entirely fair. We'll have you change your mind to make this as fair as we possibly can. Now, with performance, I personally believe you need to make the any card at any number mean something. You need to play it up as big as you possibly can, so emphasise how fair it is. With this example, you can say the deck has been on the table from the very beginning. You had a card, you had a number, you even changed your mind. And I always leave it until the card is on the table or the card is in my hand. So I have the card in my hand, let's say the Ace of Spades for example, that's what this one is. I'll be holding it here, or I'll have it on the table. And this is when I go into all of the hard hitting things with this, and I'll run you through the scripting that I personally use now. So the deck of cards has been on the table from the very beginning. You've thought of a card and you've thought of a number. You even changed your mind several times. You said the Ace of Spades and the number, let's say 33. The chances of you naming the Ace of Spades are 1 in 52. The chances of you naming the number are 1 in 52. So the odds are quite heavily against you, but that's not the only thing. There are a quintillion different orders for a pack of playing cards to be in. I don't even know how many zeros that is, but I know it's a lot. A quintillion different orders. So had one card have been moved out of position, had the deck have been shuffled one more time, the outcome of this would have been completely different. And this is why it was a test of you guys and your intuition, because the odds were very heavily stacked against you. Or I'll hand it to them and have them turn it over. I'd like to add as well, by mentioning, had this deck of cards been shuffled one more time, the outcome of this would have been completely different. What that suggests is that the deck was shuffled. Even if you are using my stack, well, not even my stack, the ace through to king, ace through to king, for using that stack, by mentioning, had the deck have been shuffled one more time, it suggests that they were shuffled. And there's a little something that I do in paid gigs when performing the any card at any number with this. I have a matching deck of cards to the one that's set up for the any card at any number. And I'll perform everything else, all the other card magic or whatever it is I'm doing, with that matching pack of cards. I'll box it and put it away, and then I'll go into coin magic or mentalism. I'm very heavily based on mentalism. I use the card magic to sort of gain rapport with the spectators before reading their mind. I'll box the deck and put it in my pocket. When I finish the mentalism or whatever else I'm performing, I'll bring the pack back out, but the any card at any number pack. So I have another pack of cards in my pocket that's matching. So this isn't the any card at any number deck, but it's a matching box. What I'll do is I'll perform with this pack and put it in my left pocket, and then later on I'll bring the any card at any number pack out of my right pocket. And that leads the spectators to believe that it was a genuinely shuffled deck, and I make sure that they shuffle the deck in the beginning performance. And it just suggests, it makes it even fairer. Some performance ideas for this that I've had. One is, I've had a lady from a couple cry, in a happy way obviously, because of this. I did it as a test of symphony and harmony between a couple. They literally just got married the day before, and the presentation I used was about them working in harmony together. They'd just been married, so you name the card and you name the number. You're working together with this. And I just made it really emotional, talked about it being for the rest of their lives and how the outcome of this would have been completely different. And I talk about the odds of this happening, but then I also talk about the odds of them actually meeting, because the odds of their parents giving birth to them and then their parents' parents giving birth to them is very, very, very minute. So I played it really huge. I said the chances of you two actually existing and meeting and falling in love and becoming married are very, very slim. And that means the chances of this being here right now are almost impossible. And then I had them turn the card over, and because I played it as them working in symphony, working in harmony, the day after their marriage, they turned it over and she just teared up. And it was an honestly beautiful moment, and I wish I could replicate that every single performance of this. One other thing is to do it as a test of intuition. Have them intuit where the card would be in the pack, play it up as big as I've said before, and then they turn it over. And because they've done something, they feel better about themselves and they feel as if they're included, and that's what gets great reactions, the presentation. I personally don't think it's right to just say name a card and name a number and have the card appear at the number. That leads no explanation. Does it mean the card has magically appeared in that number? Is it just a coincidence? Saying it's intuition or working in harmony, it tells them exactly what has gone on. It said you have intuited where that card is in the pack, or you two have worked together to work out where this is. And I think that's the most important thing, if anything, on this whole DVD or download, is to make your performances mean something in a way. That's how I perform. Play it up as big as you possibly can, and that is how you get the best possible reactions for any effect, but also with this any card at any number. So there was a switch that I used in a stage show for this any card at any number. I had an envelope. We didn't come prepared, so we're using a notepad instead. And I had the sticky side of the envelope stuck to the pack of cards very loosely. So this is the prepped any card at any number deck and an envelope. And these go inside of your inside jacket pocket, okay? So I'll have it hanging out so you can see what I mean. What I did in this show was I had a matching deck of cards. And I gave it, this is contrasting obviously, so it's easier to explain for you guys. I gave it to a spectator and had them shuffle it at the beginning. Multiple spectators shuffled. They reboxed the deck and I took it off of them. And as I walked back up to the stage, I took the deck and held it like this in kind of a thumb grip. I reached into my pocket and dropped it in as I brought the envelope and the matching deck out. I unstuck the matching deck, put it inside the envelope, and then put it on a pedestal on stage for the entire show. And no one will remember you switching the deck. It's very unlikely you get caught switching anyway, because it seems so fair reaching into the pocket and just coming out with an envelope. But it was on stage for the entire show, and they remembered the deck being shuffled, even though it wasn't. So that was just a little switch that I used in a stage show that you might get some use out of, whether it be for this any card at any number, or whether it be for any other effect that you perform with anything on stage. Thank you again for purchasing my ice cold any card at any number. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you get as much use out of it as I have. If you wish to contact me with anything with regards to this project, then feel free to contact me on social media. I'm Mitchell Kettlewell on Facebook, the same on Instagram. I believe Lloyd will be putting a little banner across the screen with my name on, so you get the spelling right, because it's a little bit of a funny spelling with a surname. My email address, if you'd like, mitchofmagic@gmail.com or mbk2000@icloud.com. So thank you again for purchasing the ice cold any card at any number. See you soon.